Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed that little kind of intro cinematic-y thing. Kind of, trying some new stuff. So anyway, so today, hello there, by the way. So, initially we were supposed to have a different video, for the Wednesday, but, Crimson's an idiot. But, that's coming up. We've got it, well, next week. So, instead, we've got a ship build. This is what I created. So I've been playing a bit of Helldivers the last probably last week or two. Really fun game. You guys should definitely check it out. And I really like the kind of the dropship in it. And I was kind of messing with some of the guys or not messing, but I was talking with some of the guys in the Discord, and we were kind of spitballing the idea of basically making the dropship from Helldivers. And we had some cool ones. Nogroth in the Discord, really talented builder. He made his version of it that ended up kind of being quite similar to the Chieftain and the Challenger from Elite Dangerous, which is really cool. If you guys hop in the Discord, link in my bio, you can check that out. So many talented builders. We talk about Starfield. Anyway, so I was trying to build it. If you guys aren't familiar, it's a Pelican. It's called the Pelican. It's kind of like the Pelican from Halo, but a lot smaller. But I couldn't really get the kind of the size down. And then I just kind of anytime I'm building, I kind of just start to experiment. And I ended up coming up with this dropship. And it's called the Fulmar dropship. And it's, the Fulmar, it's a seabird. And I quite like it. I like the idea of it. So the headcanon behind it is it's a dropship used by Deimos to kind of deploy UC Marines onto a planet surface. As you see by that little intro there we did. So it makes use of a lot of merging. It's kind of heavy merging. Try and keep it as compact as possible. Now, from a lore point of view, the headcanon in-game is that most of the thrust of the engines, the thrust comes from those landing gear. Now, obviously, from a gameplay point of view, that doesn't work because those landing gear, despite being able to lift the ship into the sky, they don't do anything. So we've got some little thrusters hidden in the back there just to give it a bit of a kind of, And we've got some nice little greebling on it. So like I was saying, the idea is it's basically a UC dropship. And it's kind of meant to be a mass-produced, Deimos kind of worked with Tayo and Hope Tech to kind of get some pieces to kind of mass-produce these dropships before the Colony War, basically. Which, now that I'm thinking, could be quite inconsistent, because I don't think either of those factions might have existed. Anyway, lore is a bit shaky, but it's meant to be a kind of a UC-style purpose-built dropship. Now, you notice we've got some little greeblies. They're kind of the antennas / things. The idea is this is supposed to be kind of slung. A couple of these can be slung under larger vessels when, going from point A to point B. These things, lore-wise, they're not supposed to have very much kind of jump capabilities, even though technically, stat-wise, this thing is quite capable, but from a kind of in my head canon, I'm thinking it's more kind of like you think the Pelican from Halo. It can deploy troops from a planet's surface up to orbit and vice versa, but it won't really be doing much more. So as you can see, we got a little turret at the back covering the troopers, and then we've got some hidden lasers there just kind of between the engines, just so it can be combat effective, and then we've got that chain gun on the front. So if we look at the stats of this vessel, we got a fuel of 210, hull of 1042, and a carry capacity of 200. Like I said, it's a dropship, so stats are going to be kind of a bit, low. It's not carrying much. It only carries troops. It's got a B-class reactor with 31 power. The reason I went with that reactor, we could have gone with a higher one, but initially I was making use of the Tokamak, not the Tokamak, is the Xi'an reactor, just because I liked how it kind of fit, because we have a lot of merging. Only got a crew of 2. It is what it is. It's got a jump range of 30 light years, shield of 1450. It's rocking the Vanguard shield. And then we've got laser weapons and 2 sets of ballistics. So we've got those laser weapons. You could just see them there. They're mounted on those Tayo landing gear, the front section. You could just kind of see them there. They're kind of stuck in there. And then it's got, obviously, the chain gun on the front, because any dropship needs a chain gun. There's nothing more iconic than seeing a dropship flying in to secure an LZ, just the chain gun spurting out rounds. And then we've got that turret at the back that can double as protecting the crew when they're debarking or disembarking. And it also works quite well at kind of covering the ship as it's coming in. So if you want to make this, it's going to cost you probably 250k, depending on perks. So yeah, let's go take a look at it, shall we? I'm quite happy with the overall design of the vessel. Now, there's a lot of kind of, some would say like maybe unnecessary merging, just because we've got like, for instance, like if we look at those top pieces there, they're like antennas, or the Hope Tech kind of antennas merged inside the Hope Tech pieces. We've got up on top here, which we'll do a more elaborate breakdown. We've got two of the Taio pieces merged on top of one another just to kind of give it that, see, the shape at the front. Anyway, so if we head in at the back here, we've got a pretty simple entryway. I would have loved to have made use of the Deimos one, but sadly, the Deimos one you have to have, it enters from the top. And this one kind of the only one that fits the build, so in we go. There's not a lot to this interior, it's just a 1x1 and then a cockpit. Originally, I was using, as you can see here, we got a 1x1 cockpit, docking port underneath, or 1x1 storage way from Deimos. Originally, I was using a Hope Tech Armstrong, and then I kind of swapped it out because I quite like I feel like this fits the aesthetic better. So you've got the jump seats there for, you know, some of the kind of the crew. And obviously, the idea here, we don't have the, you know, like lore-wise, we don't have a kind of a troop bay. But the idea is your troops would kind of be sat here like slung in little racks, you know. Can carry a decent complement of like a platoon of troops, at least 12.
Anything I can help with?
No, we're good, Simeon. And then there is some, like I said, there's some merging there. We have that piece that looks a bit finicky. One of the things about when it comes to merging, I normally say don't really merge things inside because you get stuff like this. Now, aesthetically, it looks weird, but functionally, there's no issue. As you can see, it's completely hollow. Doesn't look too bad. That doesn't affect anything. So we're gonna head up into space, and we're gonna show you how she performs. Now, initially, my first kind of prototype, we only had one of those B-class engines at the back to give it thrust, and it was a bit like the mobility was a bit low, and I kind of like with dropships and stuff. Like obviously, it's not going to be as nimble as a fighter. But dropships have to be quite nimble because, you know, they need to be able to land in specific spots. So, up we go. As always, I have a perk that increases my power by 5. So for the sake of this review, we won't be using that 5 power. But we shouldn't have that issue because we're using very minimal stuff. Okay, never mind. Okay, anyway. So weapon-wise, we've got those lasers there. We've got the chin-mounted ballistic cannon, and then we've got the turret at the back that can be fired. It's got a base speed of 140 because we're using B-class engines. Boost speed of probably going to cap out around 520. Yeah, 520. Now, one of the cool things about this build, if I can show you. So, ignore the color scheme being a bit finicky. That's supposed to be all. I don't actually know why the color scheme is a little off. We'll fix it in post. But so you notice I'm making use of those Taio landing gear, and they're purely there for an aesthetic point of view. It's not needed to lift the vehicle, but the reason I use them is because, as you see, when you boost, it actually adds thrust, which is really, really cool. Anyway, so we're gonna do a quick little agility test on it. So like I said, it's agile, but it's not extremely agile. You know, it's no fighter, but it could definitely, if a pilot knew its stuff, they could put this thing down anywhere. It'll roll. But yeah, so we'll head down to the planet now, and I will show you how I built it. Alright, so we've got the ship broken down, so let's get to work, showing you the pieces. So we went with the DS 10.1 Phobos cockpit from Deimos. We have a Deimos companionway 1x1, a Deimos 100 DP slim docker bottom, and a ship bed landing bay from Taio. We have two Singe P 4 megawatt pulse lasers from Lightside, A class, 1625 range, 6.5 fire rate, 16 shield damage, and 4 max power. Now these are obviously just here to kind of make it somewhat effective for like space combat, if you wanted to do that. Something to note is these are only A class. You could definitely upgrade them to the B class because we have that reactor. And then we have the KE-20A autocannon from Ballistic Solutions Incorporated, A class, 1040 range, 6.65 fire rate, 12 hull damage and 3 power. Once again, you could definitely upgrade this. I like this one just because generally the kind of the higher you go up with these, like say these, like let me show you real quick. So like when it comes to the auto cannons, as you get to the higher tier, they tend to like not have the same fire rate, and I like the kind of the fire rate of them, if that makes sense. Just because I like the idea of, you know, like it kind of being a Burt cannon. And then we have a single KE-42 cannon turret from Ballistic Solutions Incorporated again. B-Class, 1949.99 range, 2.5 fire rate, 45 hull damage, and 4 power. Back here we have an RD-3000 Beta Grav Drive from Relodyne, B-Class, 10 power, 36 jump thrust, which gives us 30 light years. We have a 500T Helium-3 tank from Ballistic Solutions Incorporated, 210 fuel. We have, that's supposed to be over here. We have the Xi'an Ion Beam H1030 reactor, B-Class, 31 power, 975 reactor hull. Then we have two of these Dun 41 engines from Amundun, B-Class, 3 power, 19,920 engine thrust, 4,200 maneuvering thrust. Now, weirdly, I'm just looking at some of this, because when I initially had built it, is that the best ones? No, okay, so that's not the best ones. You could definitely go more, if you want more thrust, but it's not really necessary. And then with, initially with this reactor, the whole reason I went with this reactor, because my initial build, I was kind of using the reactor shape to kind of blend in. And then, like I said, initially it was supposed to be based on the ship from Helldivers, and it just completely went sideways when I realized I'm not that good. So you could swap this out for something else. And then we've got the Vanguard Bulwark Shield Generator from Vanguard, B-Class, 12 power, 1450 shield. For the landing gear, we've got 4 of these Pinpoint 3G landing gear from Tayo. We've got 2 in the 4 variant, 1 port, 1 starboard, and then 2 in the rear variant, 1 port, 1 starboard. And then the kind of the main focus of the build is these Hope 55 landing gear from Hope Tech, 4 landing thrust. These are kind of your faux engines. For structural pieces, we've got 4 of these Tayo end caps, 2 port, 2 starboard. We're going to use these to basically overlap on top of one another to give that kind of smooth effect. Then we have the Deimos Cowling Fort. We have the Nova Bracer. We have the 2 of these Tayo side caps, 1 starboard, 1 port. We have a Stroud engine mount from Stroud Eklund. We have the Nova Cowling 2 LBM. So this is belonging to this set, but one of the things that I only realized recently when I was doing my stream where I was building someone's ship, where if you flip these upside down, it's one of the few mounts where you can basically mount underneath it. We've got 4 of these Deimos Wing A's, kind of in that configuration. And then we have a Deimos Tail A, 2 Deimos Spine C's, a Spine A, and then we have 2 Hope Tech Riser B's, and then 2 Hope Tech Markers. So let's get to work on the build, shall we? First thing we want to do is we want to kind of assemble the general idea of the ship. So the ship is going to set up looking like that, ideally. And then what we're going to do is we're going to basically start working on kind of the merge. So one of the first things we're going to do is, where is my piece? Hello, where are you? So this, there it is here. So this piece here, this Nova Bracer, will sit up here. And the whole purpose of this is to hold these two like so. Now, we're going to have to move these up a little bit. There's going to be a lot of this kind of merging, so we're just going to grab these and lift them up. And the reason we're lifting them up is because we are making use of these. These are going to sit like so. It's connected? Yeah, no, it's connected. Let's go. And then we want to get our weapons in here. Our little pulse or lasers. So now we can kind of start moving these down. So these sit like that, and you can just do the simple flip technique to get them into position like so, and then you can kind of delete these. I'm going to keep this here though, because we're going to be doing some merging. So next, what we're going to want to do is we're going to get this piece in place. This is just a simple flip. It just kind of acts as a little kind of a hat for this vessel. Now we're going to start with these end caps. And the idea with them is we're basically going to merge them down on top of one another. So what you want to do is, I showed you this technique before, we're just going to highlight one, and then we're going to highlight a brace or any sort of piece that has snapping points on all sides, and we're going to duplicate it. And you'll notice it goes up. That's perfectly fine. Just duplicate again. Now it's dropped down. You can see there, we're going to grab this one, we're going to flip it, and we're going to basically highlight again and duplicate it down. And now we have that, as you can see, we have the kind of the smoothness kind of sticking out like so. So next we're going to get to work on our engine portion of the vessel. So basically all of these pieces will sit together like so. So we're going to use this kind of pre-made thing. So first thing I'm going to do is we're going to sink this down like so. Now our fuel tank is inside there. We're going to do the same thing again. Sink the grav drive. Sometimes it'll pop up. That's perfectly fine. Now you may notice when it comes to doing this sort of stuff, it can be quite finicky. Sometimes some pieces won't like to play ball. That's perfectly fine. So next what we're going to do is we're going to, let me show you. So these engines sit like that, if I correctly. Yes, they do. Perfect. Okay, so that engine sits like that. And we're going to basically merge a second one into it. Now this is where it can get a little bit finicky. So like before, we're just going to drop it down. But as you can see here, the engine doesn't want to kind of play ball. For some reason, this engine, I don't know what it is, but it won't basically duplicate. So what you need to do is you spawn one above it, and then you grab the bottom one. And then when you duplicate, it basically spawns in on itself like so. And then you just delete that. Now we're going to start. You'll see the structure kind of come together. These two pieces here, these just kind of sit in like so. Quick little flip technique just to get them in there. And then the same on the other side. As you can see, they just kind of, it keeps that smoothness going. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do two more of these here. Now, the reason I kind of use these is if you don't use these, this kind of piece here, it like stands out. And some people might not mind that, but I personally don't like it being kind of so prominent. So like before, we're just going to basically drop it down. There you go, like so. And then we're going to flip. Do the exact same thing again. Just drop it down. Perfect. Like so. Now, it's not as prominent. Next, we're going to snap this piece in. Now, this is where we're going to need one of these bad boys. So you're going to snap that there. And like so. Then you're going to highlight it and then just drop it down. And again, that's kind of not too noticeable. Like, you might be like, Crimson, why do you need that? It's kind of pointless. We need a snap point for what we're going to be doing in a moment. So next what we need to do is, so we have these little these tail pieces. So we snap one that side and one the other side like so. And then what we need to do is we snap these pieces inside like so. And the reason we're doing this is to just kind of fill out the tail. So what you can do is, which I kind of didn't realize when I did it the first time, because initially, like you were seeing there, I had them just like that. And it definitely covers the gap, but it's probably better to flip them like so. And then they'll snap in, but they'll be red, so just flip them and flip them back like so. And then spawn another one. Make sure you drop it first, flip them back, like perfect. And then what we want to do is we need to add in this piece here. This piece snaps in there. You see it snapped there really nicely, which is nice. So we're going to flip that piece like so. And that is basically there to kind of connect our turret. So we'll put that on in a minute. So we're going to put our shield generator here. And then we need to attach our tail next. Again, with the tail, we're going to have to do a bit of finagling. So we're just gonna basically, the tail merges directly inside like so. So we're gonna make a system like this, and then we duplicate down one like normal, and it's not going to go any lower by doing the drop. So we're gonna have to do this method, and just like that, it is now dropped and it's sitting nice and snug there. Really nice. And then we're going to get this piece here. Now, for this next piece, we're going to want to get these two here. I'm just going to really quickly, I'm going to put this nose gun on. And what we're basically doing is we're going to be merging. So there's these pieces, as you can see here, there's 3 pieces in each, so 6 altogether. So what we want to do is we want to increase the height like so. Like that, perfect. And then, so we start by slapping these bad boys in here like so. And then we're going to get these pieces here. Basically like that. Oops. And once they're there, we're going to highlight them. Like so. And then we're just going to basically drop them down. Now, sometimes they'll go up. That's perfectly fine. Just highlight them. And then we're going to move this very briefly. We're going to keep this piece here. We need that snap point for later. And then we're just going to drop them one more time. And now they should be perfectly, if you delete them, they're perfectly snug like that. They're sticking up. And you could leave them like this, but I don't like how exposed they are. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring this piece back here like so. So you just basically do a little scaffold like that. And then just to kind of save the technique, make it a little bit easier, what we're going to do is, so you want to drop these down like that. And the thing is, it would be perfectly fine just having them up at this height, but, you know, it just makes it easier. And then we're going to grab these 2 pieces like so. And now this time we can delete these. And then we can delete all that. Leave one. And then you just highlight both of them. And they'll go up, which is perfectly fine. And then they'll drop down. And then they drop down one last time. And then just to double check, there we go. Perfect. And then the turret, I like sitting the turret. Excuse me, let me fix that. I like sitting the turret back further just because it looks a bit weird being here. It's very exposed. Whereas when it's sitting back here, it kind of like the engines, or the tail naturally protects it. So yeah, that's the that's the vessel itself. That is the Fulmar. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoyed the little kind of the cinematic. I plan on doing them more, just because it's fun to kind of, you know, showcase, especially with some of these kind of lore heavy builds. So let me know what you guys think. And just, yeah, if you guys have any cool like drop ships you have made, be sure to join the Discord so you can share them. It's a great place. We've got a lot of fantastic builders that are kind of showcasing loads of really cool ships. So yeah, if you want to just chat to us about Starfield, you know, we have a lot of different channels. We've one for talking about lore, talking about screenshots, ships, you know, everything. And you can also submit ships there. But yeah, anyway, that's enough Discord. So thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe if you like this sort of content, and check out some other video. Bye-bye.